Hello, YouTube. Welcome to episode number 2 in the series Let's Settle. In this episode, I will be discussing the topic, should collegiate athletes get paid? As always, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave in the comments what you guys want us to talk about next. So let's get right into it. So this topic was sparked by Lonzo Ball in 2016 when he played for UCLA. His dad created the business of the Big Baller brand, and he really expanded that, and he used his 3 kids, Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo, as the face of the franchise. However, at the time he created this, Lonzo was in college, and as the rules state, NCAA bylaws state that after becoming a student athlete, an individual shall not be eligible for participation in intercollegiate athletics if the individual permits the use of his or her name in the picture to advertise, recommend, or promote directly the sale or use of commercial product or service of any kind. So basically, you can't advertise a business. And if you get a player like Lonzo, who is destined for stardom, well, maybe not, but whatever. He's got a big media personality. If you get a player like that, you think that there should be some exceptions, and there kind of was, because he was still able to play his 1 year at UCLA before becoming an NBA player. So let's jump right into what my opinion is. I believe that collegiate athletes should not receive a salary. However, I believe that they should be able to receive sponsorships and be able to advertise for a certain business. And so, to get right into this, let's start with the reasons why they should be able to get paid. So think about this. Anthony Davis. He's played college at Kentucky. After playing at Kentucky, he was offered to play in the Olympics. If you get a player that is of the caliber of Anthony Davis, you want someone like that to represent your country well, which Anthony Davis did well, and pretty sure they got a gold medal. So collegiate athletes today, more than ever, are world-class athletes. They are heavily publicized, and they're the best of the best. So if we can get personalities like Anthony Davis out in the market while they're in college, could spark a lot of interest to younger kids that are aspiring to be collegiate athletes. Next, let's think about companies that will benefit from this exposure. There's already colleges that are sponsored by companies. Nike sponsors 56.9% of all companies, or not companies, all colleges. All colleges. So if we look at it this way, a player that goes to Alabama and they can only really get a sponsorship from Nike, because that'd be breaking the contract that Nike and the school has, that's what their players have to wear. However, if the player gets a sponsorship from Adidas or whatever, they'll have to wait till after they're in college. That's a simple fix to that. Same thing with Michigan and Jordan. Jordan's technically a Nike brand. However, players at Michigan can only wear Jordan, and so if a player from Michigan was really good and got a sponsorship from Jordan, he could accept it. But from anything else, he'd have to wait until after college, or it would break the agreement between the college and the company. But think of all the colleges out there. Couldn't you see a player like this being the face of Nike? Zion Williamson, he's one of the most popular basketball players in the world, possibly one of the most popular athletes in the entire world. So players like this from an early age can help not only themselves out, but help the company out that they're representing, because of the media prowess they suggest. Let's think about Trevor Lawrence. Can't you just see this guy on a Head and Shoulders commercial? I mean, just look at his hair. He's already won a national championship. He's a freshman. Before the time he's in the NFL draft, he'll automatically have so much media following him due to his success in college. Now let's think about collegiate basketball. I'll go back to Zion Williamson. Most college basketball players' agendas are to play college for 1 year and then declare for the NBA draft. Considering this, those players are usually extremely publicized and widely known. So what difference would it make if Zion Williamson was on a Nike billboard and he was kind of advertising Duke? And it would really help Duke out because it would possibly help Duke get more recruits, and it would help Zion out, which it helped pay off his student loans and whatever, if he even has any. It's not going to be a problem because he'll be an NBA player, but considering other players. Now this will jump directly into why they shouldn't get paid, because think about the schools that don't have the biggest, I guess they're not widely known, they don't have the best athletes, then all their recruits are going to go to these big schools that are getting heavily publicized. So that's one problem with players being paid in college. Let's think about Johnny Manziel. He'd always be counting his money in college for Texas A&M, and he was just very financially irresponsible. Possible NFL return?
Computer says no.
Yes, the computer does say no. And I don't believe he'll ever make an NFL return. But this just shows you how some collegiate athletes are financially irresponsible, and we can't be paying them when we could be paying them when they get professional and they prove themselves to be financially responsible. This doesn't apply to all collegiate athletes, however, I'm just making a generalization. Another reason why they shouldn't be paid is it would take away from the competitiveness of the game. I know many people that have stopped watching professional sports either because of people kneeling for the national anthem or people just playing for money. And it takes away from the competitiveness of the game, and that's why many people love college, because in collegiate sports, you play to win, you don't play for a paycheck. And I feel like if players that were exposed and that got contracts, that take away from not only their team success but also their future success in college. Next, we also have to realize that college is a privilege. This is more personal, this isn't factual. However, college is a privilege. You shouldn't be handed everything in college just because of your athletic ability, because the NCAA, their priority is to make the student better before the athlete. That's why they're called student athletes. That's why student comes first before athlete. So if players got paid and players got sponsorships, it would take away from the value of the student athlete, because they just basically get everything handed to them. In conclusion, I believe that they should get scholarships because the players that are widely known and heavily successful should bring their social presence to the sports industry. It'll help many kids that aspire to be collegiate athletes. It'll help them to realize that if they're good enough, they can get their face out there. And for some reason, some people want to be famous. I'm personally not about that, but a lot of people want to be the top person talked about. Also, the people that don't get sponsorships, that play with players that get sponsorships, will get their, I guess, exposure because they're playing with someone who's heavily advertised. And so if they make a good play with the person, or they give them a nice pass, or they throw a touchdown pass to them, they'll get heavily advertised. So thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more Let's Settle videos, and comment what we should do next.